The morning sun rose over the edge of the dusty highway, spilling gold across the cracked road that led into the small town of Willow Creek. Cars rushed by, engines humming with life, but on the side of the road stood a little girl, barefoot, her small hands gripping the handle of an old, rusted bicycle. Her name was Lila, barely 9 years old. Her faded dress hung loose on her thin frame, and her eyes, though tired, still held a spark of hope. She stood near a gas station where a group of bikers had stopped to rest, massive motorcycles gleaming under the sunlight, their engines rumbling like thunder. Lila took a deep breath. Her stomach ached with hunger, but what hurt more was knowing her mother hadn't eaten in 2 days. She pushed her bike forward, timidly approaching the group of leather-jacketed men laughing near their bikes. One of them noticed her first, Reed, the leader of the pack. He was tall, broad-shouldered, with a beard that made him look twice his age. His voice was rough, the kind that could silence a room. But when he saw her, something in his chest softened. "Hey, little one," Reed said, lowering his sunglasses. "You lost or something?" Lila swallowed hard. "And no, sir. I'm not lost." Her voice trembled, but she forced the words out. I wanted to ask if you'd like to buy my bike." The bikers exchanged puzzled glances. The old bicycle she held looked like it had survived a storm, or 10. Its tires were flat, the paint peeling, the chain rusty. Reed tilted his head. "Buy your bike? What for, sweetheart?" Lila gripped the handlebars tighter. "Mommy hasn't eaten in 2 days," she said quietly. "She's sick, and I just need to get her some food." "Please, sir. It still works, sometimes." The laughter faded instantly. The bikers went silent. Even the wind seemed to stop moving for a moment. Reed crouched down, meeting her at eye level. "Where's your mom, kid?" "She's at home," Lila whispered, her eyes glistening. "Our house is down by the old mill road. Daddy used to work there, but they said he had an accident. He never came home." The words hit Reed like a punch. He looked back at his crew, rough men who'd seen too much, done too much. But not one of them could look away from the child's trembling lips. Reed took out his wallet. "What's your name, kiddo?" "Lila." "Well, Lila," he said softly, "that's one strong name. How much are you selling your bike for?" Lila hesitated. "It's old, sir. Maybe $10. Enough for some bread and milk?" Reed looked down at the bike again, barely holding together. Then he pulled out $100 bill and handed it to her. "Here," he said. "I'll take it." Her eyes widened like she'd just seen magic. But sir, that's too much." Reed smiled faintly. "Then consider the rest a tip, for being the bravest girl I've met." Lila's lips trembled. Thank you, sir." She clutched the money like treasure. But just as she turned to leave, another biker, Tommy, younger, with tattoos curling up his arm, spoke up. "Wait. You sure you're okay, kid? You said your mom's sick." Lila nodded. "She's very weak. She hasn't been to the hospital because we owe money to Mr. Kent. He said he'd throw us out if we didn't pay rent this week." Reed frowned. "Who's Mr. Kent?" "The man who owns our house," Lila said softly. He took Daddy's truck after the accident. He said it was for the rent. Then he took our furniture too." Mommy cried all night. A murmur rippled through the group. Tommy muttered a curse under his breath. Reed's jaw tightened. He looked at his men and said in a low voice, "Mount up." Lila blinked, confused. "Where are you going, sir?" Reed smiled faintly. "To make sure your mom's okay, kid. You lead the way." Lila hesitated, clutching her now empty hands. Then she nodded. "Okay." The bikers started their engines, roaring like thunder across the quiet street. Lila walked ahead, her tiny feet covered in dust, leading a convoy of men who looked like outlaws but carried hearts full of fire. They reached the old mill road soon. The air grew still, heavy with the smell of damp earth. At the end of a crooked lane stood a broken-down shack, a roof patched with metal sheets, the door hanging loose. Lila ran ahead and pushed the door open. "Mommy! Look! These men helped us." Inside, on a thin mattress, lay a pale woman with sunken cheeks, Martha, her mother. She tried to sit up, startled, her hand clutching her chest. "Lila, what did I tell you about talking to strangers?" She stopped when she saw Reed step inside, removing his helmet. "Ma'am," Reed said gently, "we're not here to hurt you. Your daughter just sold me her bike. She said you haven't eaten." Martha's eyes filled with shame. "I'm sorry, she shouldn't have done that. She's just a child." Reed's voice softened. "She's a brave one. You should be proud." Tommy came in carrying 2 bags, he'd stopped at the gas station store on the way. He placed them on the table. Bread, milk, canned soup, some fruit, and medicine. Martha's lips trembled. You didn't have to." Reed interrupted softly, "Ma'am, we wanted to." Lila ran to her mother and held her hand. "See, Mommy? I told you people still care." Martha broke down, tears streaming down her face.